Flyknight is short and sweet and does everything just right. I absolutely adore this game, and I just finished it, so let's talk about it. Flyknight is a short dungeon crawler, and if there's one thing I have found that I love in recent years is dungeon crawlers. And quite frankly, Flyknight is one of the best. You see, Flyknight does away with all the bluff of so many other games, no stats and so on. Here you just are a fly that's also a knight, and you must defeat the lunar moth in order to reclaim the wings for the rest of insect species. So, the lunar moth has taken away all of everybody else's wings in order to claim them all for herself, so the moth can fly to the moon, because the moon and so on, right? And the entire idea is that you go through all of these dungeons in order to stop her, in order to reclaim the wings for the rest of insect kind. It is pretty fun in that concept alone. But it makes it even funnier when you consider how the insect is. Like, it's a moth that wants to fly to the moon because it's attracted to the light, but in the game it's because of some deity, right? It's pretty cute and cool in that way. But what I really enjoy about Flyknight, honestly, is the way that the level design works. You see, Flyknight feels like it's meant to be played in co-op. And while I did not do that, I played a complete solo. I think if you played it in co-op, it would probably be better and it would only amplify everything that I'm about to say. For one, Flyknight has decapitation. Straight up. You can cut the arms, legs, head sometimes of different enemies, which makes them actually different. An example of that is the zombie enemies, where if you cut off their arms, they no longer use their grab attack. But the best strategy is to cut off their legs, because if you cut off their legs, then when they can run at you, which they normally do, which means they can tackle you, which means they're just docile on the ground, and then you can hit them until they're dead. It is one of those things that I really appreciate about games, when the things that you do have a direct impact in the fight. Cutting off the arms of your enemies might mean that they can't use certain tools, or maybe it'll mean that they'll swap to a different combat style. All completely dynamically while you're fighting something else. It's so fucking cool. I love the system quite a lot. And there are a good amount of weapons to choose from. Each of them feeling different enough to the point where it feels like you are actually using a different weapon. My favorite has to be the katana that you get from defeating a beast samurai. It is a super dope weapon that I use basically throughout the entire game. But you can also get food-themed weapons. You see, you can get things like a leek or a onion rapier. There are a lot of different opportunities to have some slightly goofy, silly setup. And I really appreciate that. An example of something that the game does really well is its fishing. When you're out fishing in Flyknight, you have not just the most crazy fishing rod, you also, on top of that, have to fish different fish that are themed after fruit. A good example is that you can find a melon tuna, or be like a melauna or something like that. Like, they all have these different names that all tie into what they actually are in our life, and often there'll be a slight bit of a pun in it. And of course, while that is funny, that is not the only reason why you'd interact with the fishing. You see, you can actually eat each of these fish, which each have different buffs that they give you. An example is the banana fish that, well, regen your HP. But you can also just regen your HP through the potions. Overall, I think the level design also just takes a complete front page for me. It has that real cool level design where it wraps around itself. So you might have a one heal spot that will continuously, that you'll like go back to over and over and over again, because the level keeps wrapping around itself. It's pretty fucking cool. I really love the way it's designed. And on top of that, I love the equipment. And like I said, I love all of the weapons and all of that as well. And it's only 4 hours long, which means that this is one of those games that, for at least people like me who might be a little bit more no-lifey than others, I can complete this in a single sitting. And it is honestly pretty relaxing and nice to have a game that doesn't take up millions of hours and hundreds of weeks. It's refreshing in a way to play something that is just small, compacted, and it just serves its purpose fully. Now, like I said, I think the game would have probably been more fun if you played a co-op. There's spells and so on and so forth, so you would have like this super chaotic times when you use the different spells, and like elements and effects are going crazy, and of course you will take damage because this is one of those games where, yeah, other players can damage you. The only way you can avoid that is by getting a certain ring that you get fairly early on in the game, but I'm not sure if you can have more than one of them in one session at a time. I just love this game a lot. I think that is like the simplest way to put it. I love the character design, I love the enemy design. I adore the weapons. I love the movesets of every enemy. They're very distinct, they're very unique. But the one thing that we haven't talked about when it comes to this sort of combat and the enemy style is the bosses. You see, the bosses honestly are super cool. There unfortunately aren't a lot of them. There are 3, but the one that easily takes the cake is the Dragonfly Knight. Holy shit, what a fight. He doesn't have a lot of moves maybe, but the moves he has hit hard there, adrenaline pumping, they're cool. I love the fight. And of course this is a Souls-like, or at least it's in that vein of game where you get the boss's weapon after you defeat them. And that is pretty good because his halberd is fantastic. I also have to note that I adore the dialogue. It's all really well written in my opinion. And it serves its purpose of guiding me through the story and giving me an idea of what the fuck is going on pretty well. I really enjoy it. And on top of that, I love the sound and music design. I love it because it uses an old school font. It fits really well into the game. You see, one of the things that really drew me to this game is that the text font reminds me of old school RuneScapes. And for some reason, my brain picked up on that. I saw that and I was like, buying GF10K. I loved that game as well, but it reminded me a lot of it. And when I saw that, I started to notice the movement. And you can see things like the characters skip a few animations, and that's because the animations aren't smooth by itself. That's something that you can enable, but it gives this really interesting and sort of creepy, honestly, at times, unique look to the game. I've never quite seen it anywhere except in RuneScape, and I think it's kind of interesting to see it in first person. On top of that, you have your little profile picture type of deal, the little header where you have your HP bar and all of that, and there you can also see this like graphical style just going the entire way. I don't really know what to call this style at all, but it's so fucking cool though. I genuinely am impressed with how much they managed to do with it. There are areas in flyknight that genuinely are breathtaking, but more so than that, the main area that it really like gets me is the fishing. I won't like the big fishing area, but there is a few problems with flyknight as well. For one, all of the game is in a cave. Now that is not necessarily a bad thing. That can be a good thing, and I get why the entire plot takes place in there and all that, but it just feels like there's such a big world out there to explore that I'd love to see more of this game. I genuinely love to. And it is a shame because the game is so much fun as well. To a certain extent, I really wish it was longer, because while yeah, short and good is good and all that, but sometimes, you know, you look at a game that is just so fucking good that you gotta play it for at least another 10 hours. And that is how I feel with flyknight. It is an amazing game. One thing is for sure though, games like flyknight, Verho, Lunacy, Hog the Ghoul, Nox Mortalis, and Queen's Domain, I am fairly certain that there is a resurgence of this type of slow dungeon crawlers, and I couldn't be happy about it. I actually never played some of these until I played Lunacy, and I really enjoy this genre of game. Like, it is genuinely very well paced, it's very fun, it's satisfying to explore, there's so much equipment to find and all of that. It really just puts an emphasis on the exploration, and I appreciate that a lot. And I think from my Hall of Fame at the moment, where games like Lunacy and Verho are up, I'll put flyknight up there right alongside the greats. It's a truly unique experience, and it's one genuinely fantastic game to play. I really hope more people will go and give flyknight a try, because it deserves it. It deserves more attention just because it's so fucking good. For all that being said, I'm not gonna bore you any longer. I'll let you go out there and fight the lunar moth yourself. I've left a link to flyknight in the description. And with all that being said, I hope you had a wonderful day ahead of you. If you want to check out the game, link is in the description. And I'll see you all in the next one. Remember to do your YouTube stuff, and bye.